Hello and welcome to this midweek edition of Talk of the Trinity podcast. I am Baz Barris. It is just me in the studio this week ahead of the Thursday night Europa League game. But if you are missing co-hosts, Mr. Trinity himself, Will Forrest, and who Will calls Martinez Dance Dave, dancing a little less after Sunday, I should say. You can catch up with their most recent episodes on our YouTube channel, on our audio providers. Check out the Twitter page at Talk Trinity, but we are on Apple, Spotify, Google, Amazon, all the other places that you can find your content. And we've had some great guest stars on the podcast over the last week or so. And we've got some great ones coming up as well, but we won't tease you too much in respect to those because we're going to go straight into the main event of the midweek, which is our trip to Turkey to go and play Fenerbahce on Thursday night, 5:45 UK time kickoff. And fair to say that there's going to be a few familiar faces on, or you'd expect to be on show for Fenerbahce, because they do have quite an English Premier League past contingent. Semedo, Edison, Guendouzi, but inevitably, depending on the starting 11, the main focus is going to be on the two ex-Villa players, Asensio and Captain Chaos himself, Juan Duran. It was expected that he was going to be banned, and I know in terms of ahead of Sunday's game, I said Grealish was banned and he wasn't. This time it's the opposite, and I think I have fact checked this one this time. Duran was meant to be banned, and now he's not because the appeal was successful. So you would anticipate just for shits and giggles they're going to play Duran. I mean, his record since joining in the summer is average, 5 goals in 19 games, but you would anticipate he is definitely going to have, in his own mind at least, a point to prove if he was to play any part in the game on Thursday. Sure, he'll get quite a tasty reaction from the Villa contingent in the stadium, but I'm anticipating the home fans are certainly going to make their own atmosphere and themselves felt. Asensio looks to be doing pretty well, unsurprisingly, at Fenerbahce since he joined. The one that got away, really, in terms of Villa, would have loved to have had him. Emre would have loved to have had him. PSR got in the way. But we got Guesson, right? So, it wasn't all bad. I can feel Dave throwing his phone at the his listening device now in respect to that. But well, we're not going to. There's lots of rumors going about Villa players, Villa transfers in. I'm not going to touch too much on those because it's anticipated we might have more to say ahead of the weekend and our game against Newcastle. But yeah, it could be some interesting, yeah, incomings if all rumors are to be believed, and outgoings as well. But back to the game on Thursday, Fenerbahce are in a decent position, you'd say, to qualify for the next round of the Europa League. They lost the first game, but undefeated since. The 2 points off automatic qualification. Villa need one more win to seal their place in the last 16 and not having to worry too much about the, the playoff round. But previously, I've advocated ahead of the cup game in particular, listeners will remember, to try and play the Europa League type team, in terms of team strength. And if Dave is still listening after my big up of Grasson, you may remember that I did say that you should play a pretty decent team, and then Kamara got himself injured after 5 minutes. And worst fears are soon to be confirmed because the expectation is that he is going to be out for the rest of the season. With that, it's slightly innocuous looking injury at the time, but obviously a lot worse than it appeared immediately after it took place. So in terms of how Villa are going to line up, well, it's not going to be full strength. The question is whether there is a even weakened lineup, even taking into account the injuries that are prevalent in the squad in terms of that midfield in particular, with Anana not likely to be fit, Barkley not likely to be fit. Now Kamara out. Do we play the kids? Do we, or a large proportion of, does Hemmings get a start after coming off the bench again on Sunday against Everton? Do we throw a couple of the other youngsters who have been on the bench as well recently? Do we play Jamo Aloba, for example? I think in terms of as you I have remembered from the Cup show a couple of weeks ago ahead of the Spurs game, I'm not an advocate of throwing games when you try to build momentum, especially after what was, to use the very highly technical phrase, crap against Everton on Sunday. But I'm going to have to slightly temper that by being realistic in that we have our final Europa League game next Thursday at home against Salzburg, where 3 points is enough to get us through automatically. We have Newcastle on Sunday away in the Premier League. Like, you can prove anything with numbers, but you could say one win in four in the Premier League. Like looking over the shoulder in terms of fifth, sixth, you're thinking that's going to be Champions League qualification places needing to be there. I have a fee, and this is being recorded ahead of Emre's pre-match conference, so I haven't quite got the full team news in terms of availability. But I do have a feeling that if there was going to be a game where we're going to play a weakened team, it is going to be this one, on the basis that qualification automatically still within our hands, even if we lose. There's the game on Sunday away at Newcastle, where, again, to use a technical phrase, traditionally we are crap and get beat pretty much every time we go there. So I do think there is going to be an element of a weakened a weakened team, being more weakened than perhaps you would anticipate for a inverted commas normal Premier League game. I mean, in terms of looking at the bench from Sunday, I'd expect Garcia to play. I'd expect Mings and Lindelof to play if they're fit. Yeah, I'd expect Hemmings to play. Guasson, if he's still there, you'd expecting him to play. So yeah, I think this is going to be closer to a fully switched 11. Not entirely, because I think in terms of Fenerbahce away, you do need some character in the starting 11 to play it. Otherwise, it could turn into a very long night at the office if you go completely the other way in terms of just throwing in the towel. But yeah, I think if there's going to be a game where you do think of the bigger picture, however you want to phrase it, I think it's going to be this one. So with that scene set, Fenerbahce, just to conclude in terms of them, they are in a very good run of form in the Turkish Super League, and their home record is very good. Currently second in the overall table, 1 point off top. They won their most recent game in a Super Liga. In terms of in the league, they comfortably within their European places. So they are they've only lost once in Europa League, as I mentioned earlier. So they are certainly confident bound. I mean, in terms of in the league, not sure they've lost actually. They certainly haven't lost for months. So all that said, always a difficult place to play, even in the best of times. We're in a slightly problematic run of form. Think we're not going to play full strength. Think we're going to be looking at fixtures to come. Yeah, I've been on a run of predicting Villa to win, but this is the time where they say all good things come to an end. And yeah, this is where my optimistic streak comes to an end because I think Fenerbahce are probably going to win this one fairly comfortably. I'd say 3-1. I mean, it's going to depend on the team, but how far we swing towards the complete reserves. But yeah, I'm going to go for 3-1 Fenerbahce. I think they are going to get the job done, and we're going to regroup and focus for the home game next week and the Premier League games coming thick and fast in respect to that. But things coming thick and fast are all of the latest transfer news, rumours, updates on our Twitter page at Talk Trinity. All of our recent guest episodes on our YouTube channel and also on our audio providers, Apple, Amazon, Spotify, Google, other places. So plenty of content coming thick and fast, plenty of games coming thick and fast. We'll be with you for all of them. In the meantime, I'm gonna say I hope you enjoyed the game on Thursday, wherever you're watching or taking it in. I hope I'm wrong and we win comfortably. But we'd lose or draw, still be supporting the Villa come what may. And we'll be with you soon. Up the Villa.
Hello, Villa fans. I won't keep you long because anything I'll say will probably be out of date so soon. So I'm going to make this short, sweet, and to the point. I think it's been a day of dreams and nightmares. The dream, really, and I'm stealing that term from Luis Miguel Echegaray, our old friend. Jean-Philippe Mateta. Oh, that would be the signing. That would, I was going to say that would be some backup to Ollie Watkins, but not really backup. I think he could push Ollie Watkins all the way. I think it's two really top strikers. I think we could have Mateta starting in big occasions, and that would be an upgrade on Malin. So if we can make that happen, amazing. Now, finances, big question. If we're going to spend big money now, do we have to make a big sale in the summer? Here's looking at you, Emi Martinez, after your little floating attempt at a save against Everton. But look, if Villa have a chance to sign Mateta, go, do it, take every chance we need. That'd be worth it for me. That's the dream. I don't think Tammy Abraham can come as well. So, apparently personal terms are agreed with Tammy. So is there an issue with doing an agreement with Besiktas, with Roma? It's possible. Now, it also looks as though Crystal Palace want Evan Gesson. Off you go, lads. Does that mean? That could be amazing if Evan Gesson gets some money off signing Jean-Philippe Mateta, then worthwhile signing there. The nightmare, Boubacar Kamara out for the rest of the season. Disaster. Absolute disaster. Should have been playing against Spurs. Look, if we draw aside from League 1, League 2, we can put out the reserves. Even the Championship, we can maybe rest a few players. I appreciate we got a tough draw, whereas, Man City, they're getting a couple of really easy draws. And again, our next game, okay, we're at home. But again, Newcastle United, tough game, as we'll probably discover this weekend. But yeah, it's a huge blow. Onana, still injured, not back yet, not far away, but we counting down the days now until he's ready. Ross Barkley. We need these guys back, but it's and McGinn, just waiting for news on John McGinn. So look, promising news with Mateta, but that's terrible news with Kamara, and I don't think we can sustain a title shot without Kamara, and that's bad fortune. But it's happened. So now the season is all about top 5, or Europa League. Anyway, I'll leave it there.